everybody. Papa Squeeze back here on Stormworks. Today we're going to showcase my crabbing vessel, the Bifrost. If you guys saw the crab pot tutorial video that I did, this is the ship that we were operating from. Might look a little familiar to you. So without further ado, I'm going to start down at the bottom and then we'll work our way up through the ship and show you what everything she has to offer. Alright, so we just entered the engine bay. The engine bay on the Bifrost consists of two main breaker panels, one on the port and one on the starboard side. That is a small little breaker panel that I designed just for, I guess, aesthetics. Kind of gives you indication that which breakers are on, so on and so forth. Gives you control of them if you need to get into them and shut them off. So yeah, that's where the main power disconnects are. So if you have power problems, this is one way to check. It is powered by the main engine setup, which is here in the center. It consists of 4 large electric engines. Then we have 2 additional ones on either side. Well, 1 on either side, but 2 in addition to the 4 that are in the center. It is all powered by the Mayfield Industries 2 MIG, which stands for the 2 million watt instant generator, not instant, infinite generator. It uses a infinite generator setup that uses an ABS function to basically like closed loop the throttle on a small electric engine is based off the generation. So it just uses that function till it maxes out and stabilizes at 2 million watts. So that there will run infinite. I've ran it for quite a while. I have not had a problem with it. You can also charge other vehicles. So unless you're using a lot of electronics, I highly doubt that that generator is going to fail to keep everything full of juice. So after the engine bay, you come through this door here. You're going to work your way aft, so towards the rear of the boat. And here's the cargo bay. Okay, cargo bay consists of the cargo ramp, which is controlled from the top deck. That's where you can bring it down and get one of the 12 buoy and pot setups that we have down here. So in addition to everything that you saw on the top deck, there are 12 stowed in the cargo bay. There is the jib controls here, which run the little crane that runs down the center. That allows you to lift the buoys up to get them slid back into their proper storage. And that there is everything underneath the ship. We'll work our way to the top and show you the bridge and everything else. All right, so if you come onto the main deck here and you come inside, either one of the side doors will do. It'll bring you into the little crew quarters area. All right, we have our armory in the back. It's full of all the gadgets you may need. Anti-piracy, anti-zombie if you're playing around Halloween. Everything's there in the armory. Some extra seating. Maybe you want to do a transport mission while you're waiting for your crab pots to get some crabs in them. A little bit of seating for the crew to hang out. Small med bay. I know there's not a lot of detail in here, but I'm working on it. This has been a work in progress because I've got a lot of projects going on. But yeah, we got our little stove for aesthetics, and then we have our crew quarters. Okay, sleeps 4. So if you and some friends are out crabbing, they got a place to sleep. And then you're going to come up to the main stairwell. That hatch down there takes you down to the cargo bay and engine bay. All right, so in here in the bridge, this is where all the magic happens. Got all your, I guess, necessary controls to operate this crabbing vessel. To get any power to anything up here, you got to turn on the bridge master, okay? Any screen that you see with that toggleable touch button, that was made by Armpit Sweat, and it's called the Easy Touchscreen Toggle Button. I'm going to link all this stuff down in the description, so feel free to give this stuff a look if you want to put it in your own creations. I just want to specify that I'm not taking any credit for any of these that I'm mentioning because those guys put a lot of hard work into them, and I don't want to take the credit away from them. So we'll turn it on. We'll get your nice little loading screen there. All right, so now everything's got power, okay? starting from the left side here, you have, again, some more push buttons. You have your stability controls, your interior lighting, your trawling lights, your navigation lights, and your deck and floodlights. These two screens with all your light controls are the touchscreen navigation lights and touchscreen deck and floodlights by ACC Original. Really cool touch to any of your ship creations. The navigation lights, he even made like a demo so you can kind of see how everything needs to be wired up to your light mast. So you can see with like your run lights on, you have all your lighting that you may need. So yeah, really cool. All I did with those and all of the other displays is I changed the colors to green and black to kind of match the theme that I've got going on here. We've got your PA speaker button. We have the 1x1 compass display by surativefire. Really cool compass display. I think that's a lot easier on the eyes, kind of makes it look more advanced than just a little compass ball. We have the same generator display from the MI 2 MIG downstairs, so it's showing you your battery charge, your generation, and then lets you know when your generator's full fielded. You have the 1x1 configurable digital speedometer by Speyguy. This thing's really cool because the controller itself actually does the math for you, so you can set it to whatever speed you want, and it should automatically do it. Really cool touch there. You have Zizo's depth display that automatically graphs the depth, shows you how deep water you're in. We have NJ weather display by MrNJersey. Again, just changed the color on that one. And then this thing is one of my favorites. This is the Customizable Engine Order Telegraph by Mountain Valor Company. And it's meant to replicate like those old school telegraph machines like you'd see like the thing that comes to my mind is on the movie The Titanic. You know, the bridge selects what speed they want, it telegraphs down to the engine bay and tells them what they need to do with the engines. So you have on the left the forward speeds, the right is your reverse speeds, and then I'll show you the kind of the second half of this when we get down on the main deck. The auto warn system, when you turn that on, that is a controller that I designed that allows for when your fog threshold gets above a certain level, you're going to get a low visibility visual warning. You also have a visual warning for other vessels with those blinking lights up top. And then when it gets above 50, it's going to automatically pulse the foghorn and the ship bell. To warn other crafts that may be close to you, other vessels. But that auto warn there is to shut that off if you get annoyed, because I know I do sometimes too, but that's there for that. Then you also have manual controls there for any other use of the bell and horn that you may need. The next thing is going to be the Lidar system, right? This is the advanced Lidar by Geekness. And this maps your surroundings. So on the top, you can see it spinning there. That laser is mapping out like the coastline. You can set the warning for the threshold of how close you want it to register something before it gives you an audible tone. You can change how far you want it to look or how close you would like it to look. All that good stuff. So that's cool. If you were in limited visibility as well, you'd be able to kind of see in front of you. Go ahead and shut that off. And then over here we have the catch cam. That catch cam is pointed off the port side of the ship here, right down there, and it's looking at the catch area where you're going to pick up your crab pots from. So that allows the captain to get, you know, in the sweet spot per se when he's coming up on a line of pots, so the crew can catch, or if you're like me by yourself, you know where to roughly get it so you can go down and catch them. So that's the catch cam. And then moving behind here, we have Zizo's FishFinder by Zizo. That is one of the coolest fish finders, one of the best that I know of right now. So all those little red pings are fish, and then it's going to also show you the depth that they're pinging at. So that's pretty cool. We have our beacon locator, our heater controls, and then we have our map system. Okay, so this map is the modular map main module, and it also has a pass-through module called the modular map radar module by Kasekuchen. It's linked in the bottom. I butchered that name. I apologize, but it allows you can control your movement here if you wanted to. You can zoom in, zoom out. Gives you your current location on the map, or you can center it. It's going to give you your coordinates. You can measure coordinates. That's going to give you the range and what bearing you need to go to. I'm just holding E for the first point and then Q for the second point. Gives you the measurement grid for when you zoom in and out, and then it also has a radar overlay. So that's pretty cool, really cool. The next thing we have over here is the VHF Marine Radio SD100X by CaptKilo. The only thing I changed here, obviously, was the color of the screens to match the theme, and then I put the name as if it was built by my Coast Guard entity from Mayfield Industries, the Tri-Island Coast Guard. Over here, we have the captain's quarters, so the captain can get some rest when he needs to. We have the abandoned ship alarm. So when you open this, it's going to get loud. Once you push that button, it will get loud. It's going to give that warning too. There's also 2 of those on either door in the crew room to let the crew know that we're abandoning ship, but that's going to launch flares. It's going to turn on the beacon, your distress beacon, and it's also going to set an alarm for a little bit of time and pulse the foghorn, if I remember right, to let everybody know that you're abandoning ship. We have a depth meter there, just for reference if you need it. This here is my hull breach system. So if the stern breaches with water, you're going to get an audible tone and a light is going to blink so if you come in contact with rocks or something, you'll have a warning. But that's going to do it for the bridge. We'll now go down to the main deck and see what that's all about. All right, so out here on the main deck, we have the cargo ramp, like mentioned earlier. We'll take you down to the cargo bay and allow you to load your pots, unload your pots, whatever you're doing, bring them to the surface or take them back down and stow them. That's automatically going to seal that door when you let go of that button on the way up so you don't get any water down below. We have our equipment storage. It's got everything that I think you would need: radios, fire extinguishers, all kinds of stuff. We have the remote control system here with the keypad. If you don't know what that's about, all of your gantries, so like that fishing gantry there, and I'm pretty sure that gantry as well, those gantries can be ran by radios. So if you see the radio antenna on the top of that, top of both of them, there's a number normally printed on the front of them. I think the fishing gantries are normally like a 3077 or something like that. So that's the number that you would put in on the keypad, whatever's on the gantry, okay? And you can also see that it says transmits on channel 4. So there's 2 antennas up there. One of them is always set to channel 4, meaning that frequency is always going to receive on channel 4, which is the remote. And then that 3077 is going to set the transmit frequency to the other radio antenna. So the composite data transfers your A and D and WS axes through that and then out to the gantry. So you can operate that gantry remotely instead of having to be up on the dock and trying to get it in here. You can just pick that remote, stand up here, and bring that down to get your catch out of the hopper. So that's what that keypad and remote are there for. And then moving on to the, I guess, the working operation of this, we have depth display. Excuse me. We have our depth display down here, because if you're by yourself, you know, you're down here running pots, you need to pay attention how deep the water is. Because again, those are only 40-meter buoys, so they're really only, I mean, they'll work in deep water. You're just going to have to, you know, harder time retrieving them when the buoy's not floating on the surface. This has a total of 7 on either side, buoys and pots. The buoys, or excuse me, the pots are held in with the little catch gate. If you saw the video, you know how all that works. They have a little jib crane on either side as well to operate for when you need to stack buoys and get them stowed away. We have our rope and cable storage. And then we have the hopper controls. So we have our little catch table. You slide the pot on there. You saw how all this worked if you saw that other video. And then slide the pot into the catch hopper there. This winch here is to hook to the the pot, crab pot, to power it so you can release your catch, and then you can swivel it left or right on depending on where you're going to stow it at. So that's what all these controls here are. And we have our little catch station. Open that up when you're retrieving pots, and then you'll use this winch here to pick the pots up out of the water and bring them up onto the deck. Camera's there for ease of use, because if you don't know, if career mode, you don't have the third person view, so that way you can kind of see where your pot's at. And then, like I mentioned with the telegraph, so this button here, it's going to override your bridge controls. So right now, anything that anyone pushes in the bridge on the engine controls, it's not going to do anything because it's being overridden by this down here. So here you have control of the engine speed, forward and reverse. And that is so if you're by yourself and maybe you overshot one of the buoys and it's back here, you can just back up while you're down here instead of having to run up there and do it all over again. But that is pretty much going to do it. That is a quick overview of the Bifrost by Mayfield Industries. I do have a couple other fishing vessels in the works. My big X-Rec platform is going to have a trawling version as well as a crab version with a copious amount of crab pots, because that is a big ship hull design. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't seen the crab pot and buoy tutorial, I suggest you check it out. If you have any questions about crab pots or how to retrieve them, that video shows all of that in pretty good detail, I think. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, and like always, we'll catch you guys on the next one.